If I was starting an educational YouTube channel today, here's what I'd do. Or in other words, here's the 8 most important things to get right when you start an education YouTube channel. It's definitely the best decision I've ever made as a teacher. Firstly though, don't expect massive amounts of money on educational content. Monetizing educational channels is quite difficult, especially if you're aiming at a younger audience. So although immediately and just off the kind of YouTube AdSense revenues, you're not going to find that an education YouTube channel is really lucrative, you can expect opportunities down the line. And it could become something which is actually a viable career in the future. The first thing I'd do is I would actually buy this camera here. This is the IPEVO Totem 120. And the thing I like about this is that it can be an ordinary webcam, so you can have it like this. You can pull it up to the right height for your eye level and you can talk directly to it. It's got an excellent microphone in it as well, and it can also turn into a document camera. There's 2 lenses on there, I don't know if you spotted that. One is a wider lens and one is a closer in lens. So this is, I think personally, this is the best value, most versatile document camera you can buy right now. And this is the one that I would recommend to any educator. Just to say that I have been sent that by IPEVO and I have worked on sponsored content with them before. Although this video isn't sponsored, it's important that you know that. But I do think that is a quality product and they are what we use at our school. So what are the things I do? So I just press record whenever possible. And I look to use bits of my teaching just edited together later. I'd cover all of a specific exam syllabus that people actually search for. I'd cover that very quickly in big long videos, maybe even just live streams, sharing out a PowerPoint perhaps with a webcam live on YouTube. I would find a way to feel as comfortable on video as I feel in my classroom. That's easier said than done. But what I'm doing right now is I'm imagining an individual, a teacher, a colleague, and I'm just giving them advice. I'm not looking at a camera, I'm not thinking about how this is going to be received on YouTube. I'm just making the content as if I'm talking to somebody else. I'd keep a very specific audience in mind as I do so, and I'd try and include things which would appeal to them. I'd try and include things which would make them feel comfortable and at home on my content. I'd try and make them feel comfortable to ask questions in the chat and really get engaged. So please, if you've got any questions about any of this, do chuck a comment in below. I would live stream as often as possible, and that would let me really get to know my audience. It's really useful to interact with them in the chat and see a whole bunch of people arriving and being with you regularly as you build through the year. And you see the same people coming back onto those chats and you get to know them and you start to hear what their questions are, and that helps you shape the content to be more useful to more people. I'd also make short videos. There's a bit of research that Ross McGill shared, which is Teacher Toolkit. There's evidence that young people actually interact really well and they take in a lot of information from very short form content. So actually, aside from live streaming, I would also be making short form content. Just try and make less than 1 minute vertical videos regularly. Just a keyword definition perhaps, or a key skill that you can show really quickly in an engaging way in a really short form format. And young people are using TikTok and they're using Instagram Reels and things like this. So go meet them where they are and try and promote your longer, more focused sessions within those videos. So make the point that if they like that and they want to go more in depth on that topic, then you've got a live stream on your YouTube channel that covers it. I'd figure out my ideal target audience and the level I was trying to talk to them in minute detail. I mean, I'd make sure that everything was specific to exactly which course, at which level, which grade point, you know, is they aiming for the top grades or the middle ones or the lower grades, and which student demographic that I was aiming at. On YouTube, especially when you're starting out, it's better to aim at a really specific demographic. So it's better to aim, for example, for all of the C target grades, A-level maths students who are girls from Northern England, than it is to try and aim at everybody who's learning maths in the world. If you try and appeal to all of those people, you end up appealing to none of those. So aim for a specific audience. Early on, I would script out every single word. No, I would do that anyway. I made the mistake of not scripting out everything that I said in a video, and now, if I was to start again, I would script out every single video word for word. It might take longer at first, but I'd be happy with the content when I look back on it in 5 years' time. And actually, once you've scripted something, you make fewer mistakes while you're filming, and so that means it's easier to edit later. I would plan out a whole series of videos before filming my first ones. I would take a discrete chunk of a course and I'd outline all of those videos so I know exactly where each video fits in that sequence, where the kids have come from into the video and where they're going to the next. And you can also, once you've got those individual videos that all actually fit together in a sequence, you can fire together a full long video just covering the whole course. And that is often really popular. Students really like everything you need to know in one video, even if it's like an hour long. I would decide on the visuals I wanted to include and the style I was aiming for before I started filming. And then I would stick to that for at least a batch of videos. And then I'd evaluate that filming style, I'd evaluate the techniques that I'd used, and I would improve them for the next batch of content. But I wouldn't be trying to constantly reinvent the wheel as I did early on. I would be trying to improve them bit by bit, iteratively, improving a small bit at a time. And I'd work out a quality level that I was happy with and which was sustainable, and that I could make a 15-minute video in maybe just 2 hours from outline to upload. I think it's important to be able to kind of put out quite a lot of content early on, especially as you're just learning. You improve more by making lots in short amounts of time than you do by agonizing over each video. I'd learn editing, but I wouldn't go mad on editing. I'd learn to cut out mistakes and ums and ers, but I would keep it manageable. Unlike the way I do it now, where it's just editing is such a long process that I find it quite a blockage to getting content out. I'd really think and focus on the viewer experience of my videos. And I'd give friendly and helpful advice and guidance. And I'd smile, which is always the best way to get over that awkwardness, that initial nervousness when you first switch the camera on. And a bonus tip, go live as often as you feel comfortable with. There might be very few people on your first live streams, but those live streams will live on as videos on demand in the replay, essentially. Gradually, you'll build up a following of people. Gradually, you'll start to see the same names over and over again who come on a learning journey with you. They will help you shape the content. You'll recognize them in the chat and in the comments, and you'll have useful discussions with them. And that will really help you get to know their audience and what they want from you, so you can provide more and more value for them. And that's what building a YouTube channel is, and that's what being an educator of any class is really catering for the needs of some learners. And it's a really easy tactic, that, because you could pretty much just teach live at the same cadence as you're teaching in one of your classes. So whatever you were teaching that day, for instance, you could just come home really quickly, record it live with the exact same PowerPoints, the exact same lesson materials that you're using in class. Flick the camera on and teach through whatever material you were covering in class that day. It'll be fresh, so you have minimal rehearsal needed, and that will give you confidence. I saw some really useful advice on YouTube growth recently, which was that the way to start a YouTube channel is just to do whatever you're doing normally, but just switch the camera on. And that's a power move, especially if the circumstances at your day job allow you to live stream from your lessons. You'd create a lot of content very quickly, and you'd get to milestones like watch time and subscribers for monetization in a very short amount of time. Well, I think that was way more than 8 in the end, but I also forgot to mention one, which was that you should buy my book, which is called Teach on YouTube. And I've got loads more content on this same topic and examples of my own teaching on YouTube on this channel, so have a dig about.